Alright, maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe this show isn't as over as I thought. That's fine. That's okay. Because maybe I just need to retool the formula a little bit. Maybe I just need to veer slightly off course in order to bring you all back in. If that's what you want, well, that's what you're gonna get. Because today's episode is... thought to yourself that Mortal Kombat needs to be the baby mama of pro wrestling? Well, if seeing Glacier didn't cure you of that very specific itch, then allow me to present to you WMAC Masters. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then clearly your brain has enough common sense to have completely retconned this, or you've successfully avoided all the bowels of television that was targeted at teen adolescent males in the 90s. Nevertheless, allow me to clue you in and make you suffer along with the rest of us that do remember. Now, this isn't pro wrestling per se, but it does share a lot of the qualities that we love about pro wrestling, and as you're about to see, it does serve as a very close cousin. WMAC stands for World Martial Arts Council. I know, you think something that badass sounding would spend all their time just possessing the powers of the glow or something. And no, as best as I could tell, they're not a secret society of monks out there 5-point exploding palm techniquing their way into world domination. Yet. And in fact, all I did find is that they're just a bunch of letters that go before the title of the show, Masters. That way it sounds a little more official and people don't confuse it with a golf tournament. Now, the show ran from 1995 until 1997, and even though that's only 2 years, it is surprisingly longer than it should have gone on for. The show featured cartoonish, gimmicky martial artists competing in predetermined choreographed fights. Such characters included Hakeem the Machine, Red Dragon Chris Casamassa, and Superstar Ho Sung Pak. And if any of these names sound familiar to you, well, congratulations on being one of those people that are way too into martial arts. But also possibly because my earlier crack about Mortal Kombat wasn't just a mere throwaway joke. It actually has some weight to it. All three of these men appeared in some form of Mortal Kombat media, whether it was the video game or the movie, and Casamassa also had a small cameo in The Karate Kid. I mean the real Karate Kid, not that stupid Jaden Smith version. And other cast members of the show included former Olympians, stunt performers, and at least one Power Ranger. Now, these competitors would compete for the illustrious Dragon Star Championship. But unlike pro wrestling, these non-title bouts seem to matter for a little bit more, and on top of that, there was actually a ranking system. I mean, the video games have a ranking system, why doesn't actual wrestling have one too? Anyway, each combatant had their own key symbol, and in order to win the Dragon Star Championship, first you had to win 10 key symbols from your other competitors. Then you would get a title shot, oh wait, I meant championship opportunity, at the reigning champion, and then you would get your chance to dethrone him in combat and become the new Dragon Star Champion. So not only did you have to win your matches, but there was also just a little bit of strategy trying to figure out who you needed to bump off next on your way to the top. That's right, a heaping pile of WWE mixed in with a whole bunch of MK2 and now a little pinch of Survivor on top, as well as lots and lots of extra cheese, and you have this half-baked monstrosity. Now here's the thing, some of these performers were actually some of the top members of their respective disciplines, and they just got jobs doing whatever they could with their chosen line of work. I mean, just think about it, how many lucrative and consistent jobs can you possibly name for a martial artist that don't involve being a mercenary or an assassin or a shinobi or something? I mean, if you could kick a lot of ass but didn't want to kick a lot of ass, well, this was sadly one of your best options. Now, the problem here was just like wrestling. Being a good fighter or even a good pretend fighter doesn't actually make you a good actor. Now, these performers might have been great at doing their fight scenes, but that doesn't mean that they were good at telling stories or even being remotely entertaining. This show had a lot of Hackenschmidts, but it needed more Gorgeous Georges. Additionally, just like WCW and TNA, WMAC did a lot of their filming at Universal Studios. But unlike wrestling, WMAC did a much better job of utilizing Universal's pre-existing film sets and using them as combat BGs. Oh, and side note, the first season was hosted by Shannon Lee, daughter of Bruce Lee and sister of Brandon Lee. But by season 2, either the producers didn't feel like paying her anymore or she decided that this just wasn't worth her time because she didn't return to host the second season. Oh, and also season 2 decided to tell reality to go off somewhere. The show turned to having a running story arc and to even more over-the-top scenarios, in case the show wasn't already goofy enough. Now, to be honest, my 12-year-old brain is actually cursing me off right now for daring to speak ill of this amazing program. However, my adult brain is reinforcing the memory of just how hokey the show truly was. In the end, this show suffered from low toy sales, but don't worry, they also had really low ratings too. So there was just no reason to keep it on air. In conclusion, the term sports entertainment should be more than just a synonym for pro wrestling. If that's all it is, then it definitively has no more meaning than any other WWE buzzword. However, if the term can encompass more than just world wrestling entertainment, then we are free to explore all forms of diet sports related material, everything from the Harlem Globetrotters all the way to WMAC Masters. So in summation, if you really like Iron Chef and if you think movie fights look too damn realistic and you want an alternative to pro wrestling, well, WMAC Masters just might be the show for you. That wraps it up for this one. Join me next time where I continue to push the boundaries of what qualifies for a wrestling YouTube channel, and while I continue to not wear pants underneath this desk.